Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi,
How's
Amy.
it today? I think she had her first day of school today.
Oh.
Wellesley, I think Wellesley went.
Mhm. Hi, Brian.
How's it going, everybody?
Very
Good.
good. How are you? Oh, yeah, I think Amy's on now. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
How'd school go today?
Oh my goodness, it's just insane.
Insane.
Oh,
Oh,
it's a power school scheduling nightmare. Yeah.
a lot of schools are going back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Wellesley goes back tomorrow. And they were supposed to all be able to see their schedules today, but it's so hard for the counselors to get it ready because half of them are hybrid, or I mean, most of them are hybrid. Some of them are remote only, and they have different schedules, and they had to hire new people. It's just been very last minute.
I think that's the way it's going everywhere.
I think so.
And my son's doing a remote learning at St. John's, which hurts because we're paying for it and it's all online. But you know, I guess it is what it is. It's going to be this way for a little while.
Yeah.
St. John's is online.
Yeah, they have the option of doing online or in person, but
Okay, I drove by the other day and there's a whole bunch of kids. My son went there his freshman year,
yeah,
and all the kids are lined up outside with their ties on, with their masks on, and all 6 feet apart. The line was forever.
Uh,
Funny thing is, even for the remote learning, the online stuff, they still have to comply with the dress code. So, so my son has his jacket, his tie on, and his pajama pants on.
All right.
That's hysterical. That's classic St. John's right there.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Hi.
Mr.
Yes.
Stern, change your shirt. Westboro, really?
Westboro Speedway.
oh,
Okay,
I
okay.
remember going there.
Remember they used to have wrestling at Westboro Speedway.
Yep. All right. I'll call the meeting to order. As a preliminary matter, this is Brendan Tedstone, Select Board Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Irfan Nasrullah,
Here.
Brian Herr,
Here.
Mary Jo Lafreniere,
Yeah.
Amy Ritterbush.
Here.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Norman Kamalu,
Here.
Elaine Lazarus.
Here.
Additional speakers this evening may include Police Chief Joe Bennett and Cody Normandin. If there's anyone attending who would like to speak during the public forum portion of the agenda, you must notify the meeting host in advance. You may do this now by using the raise hand feature of Zoom. I will request a motion to enter into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to pending litigation, to consider strategy with respect to the purchase, lease, sale, or value of real property in relation to Main Street parking, to allow Gary Trindle, John Gellich, Ray Mayeres, Norman Kamalo, and Elaine Lazarus to participate in the discussion, and to reconvene an open session at the conclusion. All right, Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Herr? Ms. Lafreniere?
Yes.
Mr. Ritterbush?
Yes.
And Mr. Tedstone, yes. So we're going to leave Zoom and go to Google Meet. And remember, when we go there, if we're not talking, let's be on mute. Thanks, guys. All right, let me text Mr. Herr and tell him that we are back. All right, so we have, let me just take a quick look here. Participants, panelists, me, Amy, Irfan, we're waiting for Mary Jo and Brian. And then the usual suspects on the other side. So, all right, so I am going to, let's see, as a confirming, let's see, so we're back in open session. As a preliminary matter, this is Brendan Tedstone, Select Board Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Irfan Nasrullah.
Here.
Brian Herr is, I just texted, he'll be here in a minute. Mary Jo Lafreniere is not on yet. And Amy Ritterbush.
Here.
Okay. This open meeting of the Hopkins Select Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we are complying with the executive order that suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The executive order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as the public body makes provisions through adequate alternative means to ensure interested members of the public are provided reasonable access to the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. For this meeting, the Select Board is convening by video conference via Zoom webinar as posted in the town's web meeting calendar and the board's agenda identifying how the public may join. Additionally, the meeting may be also broadcast by HCAM through one of its many channels or platforms. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and some attendees will be participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will invite board members to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Not every agenda item will feature public comment. For public forum portion of the agenda, the chair will work with the meeting host to call each pre-registered speaker to make their comment. Each speaker must begin by identifying their name and address. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes for their comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Pledge of Allegiance. Let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
to the United
of the United
States
States
of
of
America,
America,
to the
to the
republic,
republic for which it
and
stands,
one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty,
liberty,
and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Public forum. Josh, was there anyone who wished to speak?
Oh, I actually would like to speak.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna.
Is Josh on?
In fact, Mr. Chair, it's Jay who's with us tonight.
Okay, Jay, was
Hi.
there anybody who raised their hand prior to this to speak?
Let's see right now.
No, I don't see anyone there. So just Amy.
Amy's the only one I see raising her hand right now.
So we'll have Amy and then we'll go into the consent agenda. Amy, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just speaking as a resident, not as a select board member, but I just wanted to say a little something about yard signs and free speech. And I just want everyone to know that I totally support everyone's right to free speech and to display whatever yard sign that they wish to express their opinions or political views. And there's been really been a lot of upset in town the last few weeks about yard signs being taken or yard signs placed in lawns that didn't want them, and on both the supportive police signs and the Black Lives Matter signs. So anyway, I just want to say that this just sows discord in town, doesn't further anyone's cause, and I would urge people to stop taking signs. Tensions are high, and it's really not funny. If you disagree with someone, there's many other things you can do. You can do something positive for your own cause. You can have a conversation. And, you know, I personally live on a main road, and for the last 16 years, I've had signs taken, and I've had other signs put in my yard that I didn't want. I know it happens, and I would usually presume it's a mistake and just let it go, but it just seems more widespread this year, and I think it's causing stress. So I'd urge people to stop doing that. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. The board will consider approving the consent agenda consisting of number one, approval of the minutes of the August 25 and September 1, 2020 meetings. Number two, accepting a gift of $690 to the police department from Chakradhar Konpala, Kent Rissi Chimarala, and the Legacy Farms North community. And number three, approval of the request for the Hopkina Women's Club to display the banner over Main Street on the week of October 19, 2020. The banner will be 40 feet by 4 feet and complies with zoning regulations. Would any member like to pull out any item for a separate vote?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pull item number 2.
Okay, Mr. Nasrullah. So I will request a motion to approve on the consent agenda items number 1 and number 3, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and any further discussion? Hearing none. Board, how do you vote? Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere? Not on. Oh, yep, she's on mute. And Ms. Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
And Mr. Tedstone, yes. Mr. Nasrullah, if you would go ahead and talk about number 2. And if you could clarify the pronunciation for me, I certainly would appreciate that. I know I butchered those pretty hard.
I'm not going to attempt. I need a few moments to practice the name. So people need time to practice my name as well. So that's what can I say? But I do want to say, you know, I want to thank the Legacy North group for, along with Mr. Konapala and Mr. Chimarala, and the whole Legacy Farms North community for donating to our police department, you know, in this day and age where there are protests going on. You know, I think the HPD is a shining light, and I'm really proud of our police department, and I just like to see that support. So thank you.
Thank you. So Mr. Nasrullah, would you like to request, make
Yes.
the motion?
I move to to approve item number 2 from the consent agenda.
Okay, I'll
Second.
second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere? And Ms. Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
Tedstone, yes. So thank you. Employee recognition, the board will acknowledge Gerard, oh geez, these names are killing me today. Berthollet, assistant foreman of the DPW, who has left for another position and was with the town for 16 years. Gerard was, Gerard's supervisor has noted he was a very dedicated, dependable, and hardworking employee. During snow, ice, and wind and rainstorms, he was frequently the first one in, last one to leave. He will be missed. I can absolutely speak to that. I work very, very closely with Gerard. He is the epitome of when you have somebody that leads by example. He was and is still a very, very hard worker, a wonderful person, a massive asset to the DPW, and that's going to be a tough one to replace. But so Gerard, I'm not going to butcher your last name, but he's a friend of mine, you know, an acquaintance of mine. So I feel comfortable just calling him Gerard. Best wishes, congratulations. Thank you for the 16 years you gave us. And hopefully we can keep your number if we need you down the road for some snowstorms, because you did a great job. So the new police officer, the board will consider appointing Cody Normandin as a police officer. Mr. Normandin has successfully completed the police academy training and Chief Bennett recommends appointment. Is Chief Bennett on, Jay? I'm assuming he is. Yep, there he is. So I see him.
Yep, he is. I just promoted him to speak.
Okay, great. So Chief Bennett, if you would please introduce Mr. Normandin. You're on mute. And your video's not on. There you go.
Well, through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to thank the board for having me here tonight. Wish them good evening. We're here tonight for me to introduce Cody Normandin. And as you said, he's finished the police academy. He was part of the positions that were approved in January before COVID. And finally, the academies are in place and he's one of 3 that were in the academy. And so if you just give me a moment, let me fix my video.
Yeah, that'd be great.
My lieutenant is playing IT tonight. And thank you. It seems like when you switch, it likes to switch your camera. All right, Lieutenant, you want to come over here and see if you
Mr.
can-
Bennett, it should be noted that we never had these video issues when Chief McRoberts and Chief Flannery was present on Zoom meetings.
I know. So I got video here, but it's not. Oh, there it is. All right. It's not picking up this one. So we were working all night trying to get our big presentation going, but so we now went with.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. As if there's not enough stress.
Kid in the background, did they fix it?
As if it's not hard enough appearing in front of all your bosses, right? So yeah, we're really excited about Cody coming in. He's one of 3 that were in the academy. He finished first. He will start tomorrow if you so approve. Cody is part of that Fitchburg State University program. That's really exciting. So they go through and they get their bachelor's, go right into the police academy, and then go right into their 5th year of their master's program. So from everything I've heard, he's done really well in the academy and academically. For people who don't know, to get to this phase, he had done interviews with a screening panel, and that was made up of Officer McGaffigan and Officer Sanchione, as well as Sergeants O'Neill and McNeil. Jessica Leverance helped a lot, and of course, you know, Human Resources does a ton. Maria Casey and Kristen Merrill getting any employee onboarded, and also he underwent an extensive background check. He had drug screening, psychological screening, and physical screening prior to even going to the police academy. So that's Cody. He finished September 11th, this last Friday in the academy, and I ask that you consider him for a position to become a full-time member of the police department.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, this is not our first employee that we've gotten from that Fitchburg State Master's Program, is it?
No, we have several. Rob Ekros, Jessica Ferreira, and Tyler Brabham came from that program, and they're new, but we're really pleased with the work that they're doing, and they're, you know, they truly have a commitment to the community that you can tell.
That's great. And
Those that haven't met them.
I know that we do have a student from Hopkinton that's in that program as well too. So it sounds like the recruits that we've gotten and the officers that we've gotten from that program have all turned up kind of aces. So great job by all to find this Mr. Normandin and his acumen. Board members, do you have any questions for the chief? Mr. Nasrullah?
Nope, I'm all set.
And you know what, Mr. Kamalo, I think Mr. Normandin's on the attendees side. Should we bring him in and have him tell us a little bit about himself?
If he's available, Mr. Chair, with the chief's permission, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chief, how do you feel about us putting him on the spot?
I already told him he'd be speaking and that this is an interview, that he's not in yet. It's up to you guys. So
Good.
he's ready.
Awesome. So Jay, if you could make his mic live, please. So
Okay.
I see that you're on, so we need you to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, Cody.
All right, hi guys, thanks for having me here. I grew up right down the road in Uxbridge. Like the chief said, I went to the Fitchburg State program. It's a 5-year program. I have my bachelor's degree, went through the academy, and now I'm going to get started on my master's online. So I'm super excited to be here, and I can't wait to get started.
Awesome. Mr. Nasrullah, any questions for Mr. Normandin?
Yes, well, actually, more so just some comments. Mr. Normandin, congratulations on completing the academy and the Fitchburg State program. It sounds as though you've excelled, and we're really proud to bring you on board. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Herr?
Questions? Welcome, Cody.
Okay. Ms. Lafreniere?
Just want to say welcome to Hopkinton.
Thank you.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Yeah, I just would want to also say welcome, and it sounds like a great program that you can get your master's early. I think you won't regret that later in life. Sometimes people put that off till later and it's harder. So good job.
Thank you. And what I will add is, Cody, you're coming into the cream of the crop as far as police departments go. Our town is rated #1 and #2 over the last couple of years in the country. We have an exemplary police department. The training is great. The makeup is great. And the chemistry seems to be wonderful. You are, as I tell everybody that comes along on the police and fire with us, you've kind of hit the lottery by getting hired by us. And we look forward to you continuing the tradition of the people who have retired or left the department before you. And we will absolutely hold you to the same standards that they have brought the department up to. But that's an underlying message. My main message is congratulations on making it through the academy, and welcome to Hopkinton. So with that, I will request a motion to appoint Cody Normandin as a police officer to the town of Hopkinton.
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Yes.
Mr. Lafreniere?
Lafreniere, yes.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
Mr. Tedstone, yes. Welcome aboard, Cody. We're glad to have you hit the ground running, and best of luck with the rest of your training.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Chief Bennett, congratulations, good work.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you to the board for all your support and for appointing Cody tonight.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. So, Mr. Kamalo, Town Manager report.
Through the chair, I want to take this opportunity to thank Community of Hopkinton for a successful annual town meeting. I've been with the community now for 11 years, and town meetings come in different forms. This last town meeting was somewhat challenging given COVID-19. What was not surprising to me was the way how Hopkinton came together successfully to deliver what I thought was a fantastic performance. I want to thank the volunteers who worked on town boards for countless hours getting us ready. I also want to thank town staff who spent the last 11 months preparing for this annual town meeting. Therefore, failure was not an option. Last but not least, the cooperation and understanding from town residents bearing with us relative to the social distancing, wearing of masks, as our way of keeping everybody safe was amazing. Again, job well done, legislative process went effectively, and most spectacularly, all of this happened because of the amazing residents that we have here in Hopkinton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamalo. I will absolutely echo Mr. Kamalo's sentiments on that too. The town meeting under very different times went very, very smoothly. I applaud not just Mr. Kamalo but as I said at town meeting, anywhere from Mr. Deegan to Mr. Garabedian to Mr. McAuliffe, everybody involved, to the election workers. I don't think that anyone mentioned the election workers the other day, and they deserve a huge recognition. So I would like to thank everybody and for a job well done under different times. So thank you very much for making it such a success. Liaison reports. Board members, do you have any liaison reports? Mr. Nasrullah.
Just a quick one. Right after the annual town meeting, I had the opportunity to join Jane Moran and kind of pour some of the options for the Upper Charles Trail. And looks like the committee's hard at work, and hopefully we'll have something to present to the board shortly, soon.
Thank you. My dog is chewing on a plastic bottle, and I'm trying to between that. So, Mr. Herr, anything?
Nothing to report.
Okay, Ms. Lafreniere?
No, I don't have anything right now.
Okay, Ms. Ritterbusch?
Nothing tonight.
Okay, and I have nothing. So, Mr. Nasrullah, my favorite motion of the night.
I move to adjourn the meeting tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, real quick. I was invited to the ribbon cutting today at Lonza on South. I'm sorry, it's not Lonza. It's Lycan. I went to the ribbon cutting there and was able to take part in those festivities, and it really was great. It is one world-class facility that they've built, and also what seems is a world-class organization. So I was there with Ms. Lazarus and Mr. Kamalu, and we were able to take part in that ceremony. It was wonderful. Lieutenant Governor Polito did a Zoom message there, and we were opened with with open arms by all their staff, their president, CEO, their vice president, and we got to meet a lot of the players that got them to where they are right now, and it really opened my eyes, and particularly based just on what they needed for. Just before they even came to us, all the legwork they did before they came to us for the TIF, and it really was a incredible facility. So hopefully they will be they will compete with Dell EMC for space on South Street and anywhere else in town that we can find it, and we will get our tax rate lower and save the taxpayers money. So yes, that's all I have there. We have a motion seconded. Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
Redstone, yes. Thank you, everyone. See you. This will be the first time in about 8 weeks. We're not having a meeting next week, so we'll see you in a few weeks. Thank you, everyone.
See you soon.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.